Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to my stream. For those of you who choose to join and everything, I just want to do a quick kind of, I guess, prep for the camp event that is coming up next year that I'm going to go to. It will be my first year going to this. I'm very excited, just very much anticipating the event, just because of everything that the event is supposed to entail. I mean, if you're not familiar with the camp, I mean, I've only heard about it here in the last couple of years. I didn't even know this event existed, but the camp is a charity event that is put on in Georgia and in Florida, and it has, of course, a lot of the actors from the show come and be a part of this. It's basically a charity event slash con where you can go and they have, of course, pictures, autographs, things like that, and it's gonna be it's gonna be a lot of fun. They have a lot of different events. To where they will offer kind of throughout the year, at least from the experience that I've seen from watching how last year's unfolded, or this last May, because it will be of May of next year. So I'm about 9 months out. And I wanted to do this stream because I'm going to, I guess, I wanted to do this like once a month and kind of just do my countdown until next May rolls around and just talk about the camp, talk about Walking Dead. A matter of fact, we just had our 10-year anniversary of Fear the Walking Dead. Now, Fear the Walking Dead, of course, started as one thing, turned into another. You had multiple showrunners throughout its run, and a lot of people would agree that it did not end as well as we would have hoped. And just the story was just all over the place. You had Morgan brought in to hopefully try and save the show. Then you had just people go away, people show up, other characters be killed off. It was just kind of a mess of a show after a while. But so they did that, and as we all know, that kind of ended as a dumpster fire. But talking more about the camp event, it's going to take place in Sonoya, Georgia, or I guess Peachtree City, Georgia, because it's going to be there at the Peachtree City Plaza Hotel, and it's a convention center. I honestly think I have stayed there once, but I can't remember. And so yeah, anyways, so it was it's a very large, sprawled out hotel campus kind of thing. Actually, let me make sure I got all my stuff up. There we go. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Different events that they have included over the years. Last year, I think they did beer pong with some of the cast. They do story time around the campfire. They do tours, like Lenny James did tour of the Clear shooting location, which I went and visited just a little over a month ago. And I did my very first live stream from Sonoya, from the former set of Alexandria, and that was a lot of fun. And just just seeing these places in person, just especially walking around what was Alexandria, very much laid out differently than what I pictured in my head. But I just wanted to get on here and just talk about Walking Dead in general, because we got so much. Well, I guess we got a little bit going on. We got Daryl Dixon coming up here in just a little under a month, like 2.5 weeks or something. We got season 3 of Daryl Dixon coming up. Now, my feelings about Daryl Dixon. I mean, they range. I really enjoyed the first season, and then the second season kind of undid that excitement with killing off Isabel. Spoilers for those of you who haven't seen it yet, but seeing that, and excuse me, seeing what they did there, and just with Laurent and Ash kind of being sent off to parts unknown at this point. We don't know if they ever made it back to America, or just what the plans are for those characters. So I'm just really undecided, I guess, or undecided about what's going to happen there, or just how I feel about it with season 3. It looks like it might be a little more exciting, a little bit more interesting with with our Spain location this time around, where they're just got these other villains or whatever. I mean, it's the seasons seem like they're kind of taking the same recipe or whatever and just kind of repeating it, and it's something that I'm really sick of. And we've had different quotes or comments from Norman Reedus regarding anything. Well, hey, how you doing, man? Anything regarding you know the Rick and Daryl reunion. We don't know if that's going to happen. From the comments that we've gotten from Norman Reedus, I agree to a I agree to a degree, where we're hoping that it's kind of a grand event. We don't want them to just reunite on screen and then just be done. That would be very lackluster. We're hoping that they have some idea in mind, maybe some kind of crossover series, which they have discussed in the past. But with that, we just don't know. Daryl Dixon season three is less than not interesting to me after season two. I agree, definitely. I mean, season two, like I mentioned probably before you caught this, but I did not really enjoy season two. It was definitely just very lackluster the way they did away with characters and just kind of dismissed the whole France storyline, forgot about the variants, and just it was very underwhelming as a season. And it just disappoints me to a level where if you can watch a show from a universe that you've been following for years and just instantly forget that episode as soon as you are done watching it, you don't feel the need to revisit it. That tells me that they're doing something wrong. And that's just been my complaint with Daryl Dixon. Season one started out pretty strong. And oh, well, thank you for watching all my Walking Dead vids. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's been really hard to follow as far as just what they're trying to accomplish with the show and just what they're trying to accomplish with Daryl, because it's just, to me, it's pretty much just been he's doing it for the sake of doing it, not really putting any real thought into the story. Scott Gimple, as we all know, not everybody's favorite person when it comes to this universe. Just there's so much that's been disappointing. And I mean, of course, the biggest thing that Scott Gimple did that people just tore him to shreds over was getting rid of Chandler Riggs. After everything that he was told as an actor that he was going to be on the show for multiple seasons, and then just dismissing him after that, that's where we lost a lot of our fans. But along with that, kind of getting back into the camp countdown, very excited for it and just what this has to offer. I know I have a group or whatever that I have on Facebook, kind of people that have been doing it for years and just the different things we can expect. I mean, it seems like it's kind of a big family kind of situation where you have people that go there year after year, make friends with the people that are there, and just it's just turned into a big family event, along with, of course, being a con style kind of thing, just kind of a little bit more intimate. Because I've been to multiple cons and they can be hectic, and the talent, the actors and whatnot, they can get fed up. They don't want to be there all day. You have your people that are there strictly to make money, and then you have your people that are there to actually engage with the fans. And this is what I believe this is going to be like, just judging from the things that I've seen, talking to people that have been doing it for years, especially because they have like parties and just different things going on as far as more intimate events where they offer chances to have breakfast with one of your favorite actors, chances to have drinks, and just these different things going on. You have things that are more, one to two people limited. Then you have the things that are group. Like the big thing that I've seen that people really seem to enjoy is the tour with Lenny James when he goes to the Clear location there in Grantville, Georgia. And I visited here in the last month, and it's really nothing. It's just a simple little street there and everything, but they leave that clear paint up on the wall, of course, because it's a big tourist thing, and that little street didn't really have much going for it. But I'm really really excited to see what it's going to be about and everything. The original plan for me was that because this is something I actually asked the camp people about. Could my family come if they weren't going to go to the event? Because the events, if you do the VIP like I did, where it also includes your hotel room for those 2 nights, and you can add other nights because I guess they do have kind of a pre-party kind of thing, which would be interesting considering I just turned 40 last month and kind of hung up my party pants long ago. But so I don't know what that's going to be like. But my original plan was to take my family, but it looks like that I will be going by myself, which would be very different considering that's well, thank you for the happy birthday. Yeah, it's just crazy that I've already reached that point in my life. It doesn't feel like it at all. But my family's going to actually stay behind this I guess changing from original plans, and so I'm gonna go down there by myself and just kind of take it in for all of its glory, take it in for what it's worth. So it's gonna be super fun, and just it'll be very surreal. I mean, I've met my fair share of actors. I've been to several cons, and I met a few of our Walking Dead people. Like I met Chandler, and he's a very down to earth, very nice guy. His parents and everything, they kind of do his handling there at the cons and everything. So that'll be really exciting. I've met Michael Cutlitz, who played Abraham, but I met him years ago. I want to say like 12 years ago, like shortly after he first got on the show or something like that. And then, as you know, if you follow his work, he just did a run as Lex Luthor for the Superman Low show, which was a show that was very much canceled long before its time, just with the shakeup that CW kind of went through. People, um, someone else coming in to buy the network, and it's not the same network it was. And so that was kind of one of the last shows that I will be watching on that network. But I met those two guys, and then I met Caitlin, who played Enid, also very very sweet girl. Just talked about the unfairness, I guess, there with Chandler being dismissed from the show, and how people are very much still pissed about that. And so that was fun to just have that conversation with her and just talking about her time on the show and everything. Someone I wished would have actually made it. I didn't care for the way that she was taken out, but I mean, it had to, had to push the story forward and whatnot with the lineup that we got on the hillside there with after Alpha was introduced. And so, anyways, regarding camp, I mean, it's just going to be a very interesting time, especially being there by myself. I won't have to worry about anybody else, my kids and whatnot. Just I've been told that there's a pretty decent party. I think the Thursday before, because it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. But they should actually be coming out, from what I've been told, anyways. That the hotel reservations should be coming up here in the next couple months. We'll actually get confirmation of that and everything, and then they should actually start announcing guests, possibly for the first round of guests. Especially funny how, since Carl would be the most obvious. Yes, definitely agree with that. Considering how the comic book ended, if you haven't read the comics, I won't spoil it for you. But yes, Carl would have been the person to take up the mantle for Walking Dead, especially after Andrew left. Because I mean, from things that I've heard, things that I've read, part of the reason Andrew left was because Chandler was kicked off the show. He was very much pissed about that. I mean, he did come back for The Ones Who Live, but then again, he probably made quite the paycheck every episode, so that probably helps. And the fact that they didn't have Chandler come back and do some sort of cameo, considering all of his callbacks in that show, all his shout outs and everything, that little piece of storyline where Rick is saying that he can't remember Carl's face and he loses him all over again. Why the fuck didn't they have him come back and do a cameo? I actually mentioned this, of course, when I met Chandler, and because I asked him, had you seen the show? And he hadn't watched it all yet, but he knew about all his call outs and everything in the show. And he just simply said, I didn't get the call, which was complete bullshit. And we know that Gimple was probably more than 100% to blame for that, and just the bad blood that was left between him and his parents, because his parents raised hell when he was kicked off the show or just let go from the show. Because we all know the big thing behind why he was let go was because they didn't want to pay him adult rates, adult actor rates. They didn't want to pay him that, even though he had bought a house, he was looking at colleges and things like that. It was very much, he was unfairly released from the show, and it made well, I can't remember the character's name, the character that he saved that got him killed. It made that story just kind of stupid, honestly. And then to kind of add on to that, when that character was himself was killed, which was really dumb. I kind of actually grew to like that character, and then they fucking killed him off. But that, that's neither here nor there. But just I know I've said it a few times, but I'm very much excited to what's going to happen here. I'm going to be looking out for different events, and of course, I'll kind of post about them on my channel and everything. And I'm going to look into see what's allowed as far as video and photo, because I know that it's going to operate, from what I've seen anyways, is kind of a typical con where they're gonna have their tables and everything set up, and of course you have to pay for autographs and whatnot. And I imagine it'll probably be a lot like that, where you can't film or take pictures unless you're given the okay by their handler or by the actor themselves. So I'm excited to see what events they actually announce for this go around. If they're going to do, like I've seen, the beer pong thing or the story time. I think the story time, especially the group tour there with Lenny, I think that's a more popular one, especially if he actually does come. But speaking of guests too, because as I mentioned earlier, one of the, I guess, the time frames or whatever that they're wanting to do guests, or I guess when we can expect the first announcement based on past years, is around November. But they have been kind of hinting at who could possibly show up, which this particular actor I would like to meet. And I appreciate their time earlier on the show. And this is actually a Fear character, but Madison, I would actually like to enjoy. I like me. Excuse me. I'd like to meet Madison, and just talk about her earlier time on the show. When she was brought back, however, that was kind of a, I don't know, that was a cop out of a storyline, and it didn't make sense because they brought Morgan in earlier to try and save ratings because ratings tanked on that show, and it has to do solely on the fact that we got new showrunners after season three, I believe, or maybe they picked up in season three, and they just destroyed the show. That show started out with so much potential because the big thing for me with um, Walking Dead or apocalyptic type shows, I love to see how it unfolded. And with that, it was over so quickly that it just turned into Walking Dead 2.0, where after that we started losing characters, just the writing started to go downhill, and just a lot of it didn't make sense. We had characters disappear then show back up, particularly Madison, and then of course Troy was another character. Even though I love that actor, um they, I don't know, and then they didn't do him any justice when they killed him off either. That just didn't make sense with Madison just to turn on him. I mean, I guess it does in a sense because she believed that he had killed Alicia and everything, and then she popped back up on the last episode. But just there was a lot of things that they could have done with that show that they chose not to do. The whole fall of society and everything was just over too quickly for my taste. I wish that they would have, carried on at least a full season or more of seeing society break down, and seeing how things fell apart instead of it was just over within a matter of episodes. So I didn't really care for that. It says you're working on a unrelated novel, but I toyed around with the idea of a zombie novel that focuses on the fall, and that would be awesome. I've myself too. I have thought about, I've tried to. I'm actually trying to put together just. It's almost like a trailer for just an unnamed project, I guess. Just seeing how things would fall apart. I mean, you can base a lot of it on our experience with a pandemic and just how people related or how they reacted and everything. And just seeing how it would change the world, and just seeing how, just look at our government anymore. I mean, I won't go political on you, but just it's not, I guess, in the best shape. That's, I guess that's as far as I get it because I don't want to offend anybody or anything like that. But just yeah, I have ideas myself where I would like to see just how differently things could be in a fall type situation. And just in my opinion, they didn't do that with Fear. And there's a reason that it was canceled after season 8, amongst other things. Just with the multiple showrunners, it didn't do it any favors because from what I understand, the original showrunner that did, I want to say, the first 2.5 seasons, he had a plan where he wanted to do, I believe it was 7 seasons, where eventually Madison would actually turn into the antagonist, and then Nick would have to put her down. And then when they killed Nick, and because I understand too, because the actor, he wanted to leave. I think his name's Frank. He wanted to leave. He didn't want to be in the show anymore. So bad it was endearing. There's that. I mean, because I stuck with it till the bitter end. I wanted to see how it ended. And that's, I guess, where kind of my weird brand of loyalty lies with some shows. And once I get into it, like even with what was it, World Beyond, that was not my favorite show, but because I started watching it, I wanted to see how it ended. Also because it was only going to be a 2 season run. They made that clear from the get go. But yes, seeing how things took off with Fear, and just seeing how it ended, and then just bringing in characters too, like John Dory's character. I love that actor, Garrett Dillahunt. I love the actor. I think he's an amazing actor. You know, he's done other stuff. He's done the more serious kind of stuff. Then he's done the more off the wall comedy stuff, like with Raising Hope, which was a really funny show, and we got to see a whole different side of this his ability to act and just his comedy chops and everything. And you have to watch that show if you haven't watched it, but it's just very polar opposites as far as John Dory, the post-apocalyptic survivor, slash cop, and then seeing him in this Raising Hope show with a character named Bert, and who is a teenage father. Then we see how it affected his life and how his kid in turn also had a kid out of wedlock and just hijinks ensue and whatnot. But I definitely agree. It was a uniquely, weirdly bad show. I mean, it was something else to watch too. Just seeing how season by season it was steadily becoming worse and worse. You had your seasons where they had the little bump in writing and everything, but like the whole thing with Alicia getting sick, and we thought maybe she was going to die from that bite, and then they took her arm, and we didn't know what was going on with that, and then suddenly she's gone, and then she pops back up in the last episode. Whatever. And then also the whole radiation thing with I don't even remember their names now, but the characters that were naming themselves after birds with the Padre settlement, and just what that started out, what it turned into. I fucking hated those characters. I could not stand those characters, and I was grateful when they were killed off. And just it's writing like that, and then Dwight and Sherry having their kid taken from them, bitten, and then ultimately dying. It's like, what are you doing to these people? What are you doing to this show? And so I didn't understand what they were trying to do there. And then just it's one of many things with fear, especially towards the end, that really just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, we had the whole setup. Morgan is out there supposedly looking for Rick. Will we ever get payout of that? We don't know. Negan. And so that whole setup with him saying, "Oh, he's gonna come look for Rick, and he's gonna look for him whether he's at Alexandria or not." Strand and Negan would be an interesting combo for a show. I would probably watch that. But with that, and with just those open-ended things, not, oh God, here comes my child. But with that, and with just how they left those open-ended stories, and we have no idea if we're going to see any kind of resolution from them. Morgan being one of them, and then Sherry and Dwight saying they're going back to the sanctuary to make it worthy of the name. Will we actually ever see them again? That's still something hanging in the air. We don't know. I would love to see them. I would love to see actually Sherry and Dwight, if not just Dwight, pop up in Dead City. I think that would be a very good cameo, just to see that interaction, or whatever, between him and Negan, seeing how their story was left off with, of course, Dwight having been tortured by Negan and everything, but having Dwight come back to see how much Negan has changed. I would love to see that interaction, and vice versa with Rick and Negan, to see how that. Dead City, yes. I've enjoyed Dead City a lot more than Daryl. I mean, it's not, just like you said, it's not perfect by any means. And there's, of course, missed opportunity with that too. And then we get particular characters like the Dama and the Croat, where we don't know what's going on with them, or what next season will entail. So I'm I don't even know what to really say about that, because I'm hoping that they do certain things, but they probably won't. And also, just with the rumors too, with as we know, Daryl is going to be ending after season 4, and the rumor is that Dead City will also end in season 4. And there's been the rumors and everything, or the hopes, or the theories and whatnot, that Daryl will end with either Rick showing up, or them setting it up at least, where they get word or whatever that Rick is alive and he's back home. And then, kind of with Dead City being many years ahead of everything else, where they're going to have to adjust that too, and just hoping that the end of those shows signifies that hopefully they're setting up something, a crossover series, because they discussed a crossover series, an untitled crossover series, like 3 years ago at Comic Con or 2 or 3 years ago, and nothing has come to fruition, which has been incredibly irritating. So I just don't know what they plan on doing with that, or just what the plan is altogether with Walking Dead. And just it's been frustrating on a few different levels with these characters and everything because they're not getting any younger. You got Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who's going to be, I think, if he isn't already, with the next year or two, he's going to be 60, and it's going to be harder and harder for him as the years go on to play this character who is kind of a physically demanding character. Same with Norman Reedus. It's like, how long can they possibly think they can carry on these characters as these actors are getting older? And yeah, they might make a decent paycheck from it, but eventually their body's not going to let them do it anymore. So, I mean, there's just so many different things we could talk about as far as the Walking Dead universe and just where they've gone wrong with a few areas and the things that I'm hoping that we might see. Because honestly, I would love to see Rick and Daryl get back together, but I want there to be a bigger story in mind rather than just them showing up. I think the ratings tanked because viewers originally watched Dead City and Daryl for clues about Rick. Then we got Rick's show, maybe that. And yeah, definitely. There was the whole premise, anyways, or just the whole reason that Daryl had left the Commonwealth area was he's going to go look for Rick, and then he gets washed up in France, and that part of his story gets kind of lost in translation, and then just kind of discarded altogether, along with the variant walkers discarded, and I just didn't understand that either. And then the whole this is something that bugged me, and I know it bugged many other fans too, where the whole France storyline with the end of World Beyond, we got that after credits scene setting up things in France, and now we're not in France anymore, so those stories don't matter, and just things like that. And yeah, and just there's so many things that are in a lot of people's eyes missed opportunities because yes, the end of the original show too. Um, yes, they did the after credit thing and they set up this and that, but just there's so many things that have been left unanswered, and people. I mean, you got people that have since given up on the show and everything. So there's just so much that they could have done that just they chose not to. But anyways, that might be it for today's stream. I really appreciate you, Timu, for coming in and talking with me and everything, and just seeing what they're doing with it and talking about the camp and everything. I mean, I don't have a whole lot to offer as far as what's going on, and I'm very excited to do the camp, and just I will definitely report back with anything that I learn, and I will be checking in and getting updates. And when they start announcing guests and things like that, I will definitely do videos and maybe some more streams about that. So far, like I mentioned, we probably won't see any guest announcements until maybe at least November. That's kind of on par, I guess, with past years. And just seeing what other events they talk about, I will definitely probably do more of these rather than just what I originally planned was only once a month. But as they announce things, I will probably jump on here and talk about them and just see if it sparks any more interest and whatnot. But I really appreciate you jumping in and joining the stream with me and talking with me and everything. So I guess that will do it. I will start. I will try to plan the next one a little bit better and just see how things go. But I appreciate you. See you guys and take care.